With us now is Alberta's own Lacey Senuk, who was recently chosen as an official for the 2022 Winter Olympics. Hi, Lacey. Thanks for joining us today. How's it going?
Things are good, and thanks for having me on the podcast again.
Yeah, second timer here. So first off, congratulations on being named as a referee for the women's hockey tournament at the 2022 Olympics. What does this designation mean to you?
Oh, I mean, it's the pinnacle of officiating for myself, and it's an unbelievable honor to be able to be selected as part of one of the officials in the group that's going. It's been a unique couple of years, and to finally kind of reach that goal, it's pretty surreal.
Yeah, for those of you who are new to the podcast, we talked to Lacey in episode 11 and heard about her background in hockey and the experiences she's had as an official. When we talked to you last spring, though, Lacey, you had called the Olympics a pipe dream. How does it make you feel that your pipe dream is coming true?
I mean, it's always kind of been a pipe dream just because it's every 4 years. It's a very small group of officials going. But now that dream has come true and it's, I think we leave in about 19 days. So now that it's there, it's like, people ask, what's it feel like? What words do you use to describe it? And it's pretty, you don't have the words. It's pretty indescribable. But yeah, the pipe dream is come alive and it's come to fruition. And now I guess it's set the goals on something else.
Yeah, you mentioned that this is the pinnacle of officiating for you. And in women's hockey, especially, the Olympics is the pinnacle of the sport. Is there a different feeling or level of pressure heading into the Olympics as opposed to other national events?
I mean, I think the Olympics and women's worlds, I mean, it's the best of the best, in female hockey, and it's the best teams and the best players and the best countries. And I mean, the Olympics, they're competing for a gold medal, and it's at once in every 4 years that it happens. It's not like it's an every year thing, like a women's world. So I think it's a very special moment for the players and the fans and the officials and everyone involved, because it is, one in every 4 years. It's not an everyday or every year event. So.
Yeah, you've mentioned the women's worlds. Did you have an idea that you'd be working the Olympics, or how did you find out?
So there was a long list of officials. So I was on the long list, and that kind of came about after Worlds in Calgary in August. And then we met as a group in Denmark in, I guess, early November, and it was the officials that were on the list, and we knew that there was cuts to be made. And yeah, it was, when I was selected, it was, I mean, still, it left you pretty speechless and pretty thankful, because you never know what can happen in their decisions. So
the process is kind of like, right now, the women's team centralized in Calgary. They have cuts to be made. It's kind of the same process for officials then. You gathered in Denmark, and do you want to talk about that experience?
Yeah, for sure. So we met it as a group. So there was 31 of us, both referees and linespersons, and then the coaches that were on the list. So we met in Denmark. I think we were there about 3 days. We had one day that was, off-ice fitness testing, which was fantastic. Everyone's favorite thing is to do the off-ice. We didn't actually touch the ice in Denmark. We were just there, doing classroom sessions, did some seminars, going over the rules, sort of, potentially what to expect in Beijing, different things like that. And then actually from Denmark, we split into 3 groups. And we went to the 3 remaining events for the qualifiers. So a group went to Sweden, a group went to Germany, and a group went to the Czech Republic. And we worked the final qualification rounds for the teams that were there. So, it was pretty interesting going from Denmark I ended up in the Czech Republic and working those games. So worked a couple of games, and then, we all came home, and, and then you sit back and wait for that phone call and to see whether or not you were selected. So.
That's a blur, because you said that happened in November, right? So here we are at the beginning of January, and we've already been to Denmark, the Czech, and now you're going to Beijing. So that's pretty exciting. When you're notified, do you know how many games you'll get, or do you just find out that once you're there?
Yeah, we kind of find out once we're there, right? So I imagine it's going to be very similar to other events where, you kind of get a couple days of assignments at a time, and then it's kind of day by day after that. So we have no idea how many games we're going to work. You're not guaranteed anything, and you go and, treat every game like it's your last and leave it all out on the ice.
So it sounds like you've been busy already preparing with I guess, the referees across the world and officials. But now that you said you're 19 days away from leaving, what are your next steps, and what does your preparation look like heading into the Olympics?
Well, it would be nice if we didn't have to say this, but because of COVID, definitely limiting a lot of interactions with people, limiting games just because of the risk, especially with this new variant and stuff, which is unfortunate. It would be nice to be able to work up right until the day I leave kind of thing. But because of that and the additional measures that we have to take, it's just, limiting the interactions with people sort of outside of the bubble, like outside of my bubble, I guess. But still getting out on the ice where I can, getting in some skates just to stay going and just working on the off ice stuff. So, running, biking, all of that wonderful, non-hockey related stuff.
Yes, that fitness stuff that is oh so lovely, as you said.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the main part of what your preparation and training would be as an official anyways, is the fitness levels?
Yeah, for sure. I've really, drawn to the off-ice training and fitness over the last few years. And I mean, it's something that I look forward to kind of every day. And, the cold days, not so much. You don't really want to go outside for a run, but, when the sun's shining and it's kind of nice out, it's like, hey, it's nice to get a break and some fresh air and get moving. So, I've always enjoyed training the last number of years, and I've really taken to it. So, it's part of the prep. Obviously, rules and sort of more the head in the book and in the rule book is part of it as well. But and now it's looking more, okay, what do I need to bring? What do I need to prepare for in China, and thinking about things like that. So.
Yeah, and going to China, so often we hear about the Olympic experience from an athlete or coach perspective, but as an official, do you get to stay in the Olympic Village or participating in the opening ceremonies, or are officials in like their own bubble of sorts?
So in normal circumstances, from speaking to other officials that have gone, usually, you go to opening ceremonies and things like that. We don't stay in the athletes village. We're in a hotel, and in this situation, it's, a safe hotel. It's attached to the Olympics. But yeah, this year, unfortunately, there's no opening ceremonies for anyone really, just because of the COVID protocols, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, from speaking to the other officials, it's a lot of sitting around outside, and if the temperatures are cold, it can be pretty cold. But it's, at the same time, it'd be nice to take that in and experience it. But I'm sure there'll be other things for us that we can take in and experience instead. So.
Yeah, I think that the opening ceremonies is for sure that experience thing. And I've heard that at a lot of places, that's a moment where it really kicks in that you're there, you're at the Olympics. And so I guess not having that will be tough. But as you said, the Olympic experience is something special. When you started officiating, was there a moment where you're like, hey, I can turn this into something, I want to be at the international level? Or is it more a process that suddenly you're in a position where it was possible to work on this at the international stages?
I think it was probably 3 or 4 years in that, I thought, okay, there's an opportunity here for international events and working into that system. But it was also a difficult process too, because you kind of have to get your foot in the door with the IHF and be seen. I actually kind of joke because my first international event, I went as a linesman, and it was actually in China. I was in Shanghai for an Olympic qualifier, and I think it was like 2013 or 2012. So it's kind of go the full circle, right? My first event was in China, and my first Olympics is in China, right? So but yeah, I mean, kind of once I kind of realized like there's potential, to succeed, it was okay. Now the dream is out there, and the goals are out there. So the carrot's been dangled, and I'm going to chase it. So
yeah. So, like you said, like a large part of getting to that international stage is being seen by the IHF and getting your foot in the door there. It wasn't that long ago, there were hardly any female officials, let alone at that international level. So what does it say about the development of females in the game to have a whole slate of female officials heading to Beijing this year?
It shows that, countries and associations are investing in female hockey and female officials, and providing the different opportunities. And I think that's fantastic. I know some of my colleagues in other countries, they don't have exposure to female hockey, so they skate, they officiate male hockey. And, the fact that they're able to go in and officiate male hockey and not, it's not a consideration, and it's not, oh, you're a female, you can't do this, I think is remarkable. And that's how it should be. And I, in Canada, we're very fortunate. We have a lot of female hockey from coast to coast. And as a female official, you can skate it. But, I think there's definitely opportunities as well to grow and develop in the male game, because the games are different. And you're going to learn things in both games that are going to help you in your career path.
So for you personally, regularly, are you officiating male, female, both?
It is both. It's more male. Over the years, it's definitely been more male hockey than female hockey. The last number of years, I think the only female hockey that I was really skating was U Sport, so our university level. And then, for myself, it was mostly male hockey. So, I had junior A, ACAC, and then our under 18 triple, I skated that for a number of years. So, probably I would say for myself, probably 95% of my hockey was male, and that 5% was just U Sport female. So in years past, it was, kind of almost reverse, where it was more female than male. But kind of once I cut my teeth on the male side and started to progress up that ladder, unfortunately the male hockey kind of took over more than the female, but I definitely took every opportunity I could to skate a female game.
And when we talk about the development of the programs and, as you mentioned, how countries are investing in the female side of it, how has the Hockey Alberta or Hockey Canada officials programs played a part in your own development?
Oh, huge. I mean, I always say, and I said it, that I owe a lot of gratitude to Hockey Alberta and to Hockey Canada for where I am. And even to the association that I started in St. Albert. If it wasn't for the individuals involved there that, saw potential and helped me, in St. Albert to get into, sort of more of the provincial, into the Hockey Alberta eyes, and then the individuals within Hockey Alberta that got me, in front of the Hockey Canada stuff. If it wasn't for them, it's hard to say would I be where I am today. You don't know, but I'm very thankful for the part that every single person has played in my development as an official. And I owe a lot of thanks and gratitude to everyone, and from Hockey Canada, Hockey Alberta, down to the different regions in the province, and then St. Albert itself.
Yeah, you have had an amazing career so far, and very much looking forward to watching you in Beijing. But lastly, Lacey, you didn't start reffing until you were 23. Do you have any words of encouragement or motivation for officials that are just getting started?
Honestly, you don't have to be, 13, 14 to get started. Like you said, I started at 23. But if you want to officiate, just go for it. Like I always say, and I've said it time and time again, the opportunities are truly endless. Especially for females. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there, and males as well. Like, I've gotten to travel the world. I've got friends around the world. I've got friends coast to coast here in Canada. Honestly, just if you want to stay involved in the game, do it. Like, officiating, you're definitely a different breed and a different type of person to do it. But the opportunities are there to excel and to see the world. So,
yeah, often we don't think that we have three teams in hockey, but We do, and there's room for everyone in it. So if you're interested in becoming an official, there's definitely room for you and opportunities. As a Canadian, you aren't allowed to officiate your country's games. So patriotically, I hope I don't see you officiating the gold medal game at this year's Olympics. But I do wish you the best of luck in Beijing and hope to see you in the bronze medal game. So
Thank you. But, there might be a change. I don't know. We saw it at World Juniors where we had Canadians in the Canadian game and we had different nationalities in with their nation's team. So maybe there'll be a changing of the guard here. I mean, at Calgary, I was able to do the preliminary round game between Canada and USA. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, the IHF is progressing. So maybe you'll see me in the gold. Maybe you'll see me in the bronze. I'm not sure. But regardless, I'm going to go and give it my all. So
well, then hopefully, fingers crossed, there's a changing of the guard for you and we can see you and Canada there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lacey, for taking the time to join us today and returning to the Center Ice podcast. Good luck in Beijing and remember to take a step back and breathe it all in while you're there too.
Awesome. Thank you so much.